I'll start my lecture. The topics on acute hepatitis. You will comment. You will ask me question, and after delivered my lecture, I will start on cloud for your interaction. Now, today I will discuss about the acute hepatitis. Before going to this chapter, we have to know about the pathophysiology of the disease. If you know the pathophysiology of the disease, you know everything. So, before going to the chapter, I have to tell you the function of the liver. I think all of you know the function of the liver. There is 3 to 4 functions mainly. There's synthetic function. What is the synthesis function? Synthesis function means protein synthesis. This is protein synthesis. Except gamma globulin and synthesis function, usually protein synthesis. Except gamma globulin and factor VIII. Number 1. Number 2 is synthesis and excretion of the bile. Number 2, bile synthesis and excretion. Number 3, detoxification. Detoxification means it's some drugs and toxic substances are detoxified, such as ammonia converted to urea. And number 4 is metabolic. Metabolic function means converted metabolism, especially if you are fasting. When you are fasting, what happened to the liver? Fasting, glycogen stored in the liver. Glycogen is converted into glucose. And postprandial, what happens? During postprandial, glucose goes to the liver and converted to glycogen storage. So these are the synthetic function and excretive function, and also the detoxification function and metabolic function. In liver disease, all of the functions of the liver are impaired. So if you know the physiology, I think you will remember the sign symptom of the acute hepatitis. The acute hepatitis usually means viral hepatitis. Usually not so. There is many causes of hepatitis. So hepatitis, if we ask you a question, what are the causes of hepatitis? You tell only the viral causes. Actually not. Viral cause, of course, it is the most common, but there may be other causes. That means metabolic cause, toxin mediated cause, drug mediated cause, metabolic, autoimmune and inflammatory disorder. So among the all causes, today I only discuss about the viral causes. So when during examination, when you ask what are the causes of hepatitis, you will tell the viral causes, metabolic causes, toxin or drug, and also the inflammatory causes, autoimmune causes. And when you ask what are the viral causes of hepatitis, then you tell hepatitis A virus, B virus, C virus, D virus, and these 6 viruses is called the hepatotrophic virus. So what are the viral causes of acute hepatitis? Your answer is there is 6 hepatotrophic virus. 6 hepatotrophic virus. What are the hepatotrophic virus? A, B, C, D, E and G. A, B, C, D, E and G. These are the 6 hepatotrophic virus. Usually cause the acute hepatitis. And there is less virus, not hepatotropic. This virus may produce the acute hepatitis during the course of the illness. These are the Eastern B virus, cytomegalovirus, herpes simplex virus, varicella zoster virus, mumps virus, and etc. Now, before going to details acute hepatitis, I want to discuss about the some terminology of the hepatitis. If you know the terminology of hepatitis, you may correlate the clinical features. First of all, you have to know what do you mean by hepatitis. Hepatitis means itis means inflammation. So there is inflammation of liver plus hepatocellular necrosis. Hepatocellular necrosis. If these pathological changes, last less than 6 months, it is called acute viral hepatitis. And if it lasts more than 6 months, it is called the chronic viral hepatitis. So there is a landmark: 6 months, less than 6 months, and more than 6 months. Now, cirrhosis. What do you mean cirrhosis? Cirrhosis means chronic inflammation of liver, hepatocellular necrosis, then followed by fibrosis and regeneration, which is characterized by the nodule. So there is fibrosis in cirrhosis. There is fibrosis and nodule formation. So these two things are hallmark of the cirrhosis. Now, what do you mean by acute liver failure or acute fulminating failure? There is two landmarks: 8 weeks or more than 8 weeks. If liver failure develops within 8 weeks of onset of liver disease, if liver failure develops within 8 weeks of onset of liver disease in absence of pre-existing liver disease, আগে কোনো লিভার ডিজিজ নাই, কিন্তু 8 সপ্তাহের মধ্যে লাস্টের মধ্যে তার লিভার ফেলিউর ডেভেলপ করছে, যদি এরকম হয় তখন আমরা বলি যে অ্যাকিউট লিভার ফেলিউর বা অ্যাকিউট পালমোনারি liver failure. Acute pulmonary liver failure. Now, what is my chronic liver failure, hepatic failure? When there is latent period is over 6 months with pre-existing liver disease. Then 6 months এর উপরে যদি তোমার latent period থাকে এবং with pre-existing liver disease থাকে, it is called chronic liver failure. So these are the terminology. You have to know this terminology. Now, I want to discuss about the etiology already discussed, and now I also have to discuss acute hepatitis. In acute hepatitis mainly I discuss hepatitis A virus, B virus, C virus, and Delta virus. Now, A virus, transmission of the viruses. How transmit the viruses? A and E. These two are orofacial route. Orofacial route, waterborne, also waterborne, but not parenteral or blood-related product transmission or IBU abuser. But other viruses such as B virus, C virus, D virus, and G virus. These viruses are parenteral route, blood and blood product transmission, and also the drug abuser, contaminated needle prick, and in adolescents or adult there is sexuality, relatively sexual, and Among the A and E, B, C, D, E, all are RNA virus except B virus, which is DNA virus. This is asked in Viva board. Now, infectivity. Whose virus produces acute infection? Whose virus produces chronic infection? In A and E, these two viruses produces usually acute infection. There is no chronicity. But B virus, C virus, D virus and G virus produces chronicity. Now, fulminary liver failure usually very less common in A and E, usually less than 0.1%. But E virus in pregnant women producing acute liver failure in case of 20%. But acute liver failure or chronic liver failure more common in B, C, D and G virus. But more common in C virus, usually more than 50%. Now, I want to discuss about the hepatitis B virus. Very important. Hepatitis B virus, very important, which is asked in Viva board, also in written examination. So, if you have to know the hepatitis B virus infection, B virus, you have to know the structure of the B virus. Already I posted picture in my page. This hepatitis B virus, it has 3 antigen, 3 antibody. 3 antigen and 3 antibody. So what are the 3 antigens? The S antigen, the surface antigen, C antigen and E antigen. And S antigen against A, there is antibody. There is anti HBsAg. C antigen against A, 2 antibody. Anti HBc, IgM and IgG. And E antigen against A, anti HBeAg, anti HBeAg antibody. The 3 antibody and 3 antigen. Now we have to know when this antigen appears and disappears, when this antibody appears and disappears. And there is another antibodies to antigen of hepatitis B virus. This is hepatitis B virus DNA. Now when it appears and disappears, you have to know. Hepatitis B virus HBsAg, that is surface antigen. Surface antigen, it is the envelope protein. It present in the envelope of the virus and present in both acute and chronic infection. So, if it present in the blood or serum, it indicates whether it is acute or chronic. If it is called acute, it persists less than 6 months. If it persists more than 6 months, it is chronic infection. More than 6 months, less than 6 months. So you have to know this criteria. Detection. When it appears in the blood, when a hepatitis B virus infection enters into the body, it produces usually 1 to 6 weeks after infection. 1 to 6 weeks after infection. So when virus enter the liver, it does not produces this antigen. It takes time, 1 to 6 weeks. 1 to 6 weeks and disappears after 3 to 6 months. Disappears after 3 to 6 months. Disappears after 3 to 6 months, and you should remember SBS AG negative does not exclude the patient have hepatitis B virus infection. That means if a patient does not contain this surface antigen, you cannot say patient is hepatitis B virus free. Mind it. This hepatitis surface antigen and SBS anti-SBS AG, this antibody develops against this antigen. When it disappears, it appears. When it disappears, it usually disappears, takes 3 to 5 months. 3 to 5 months, then it appears. Between its disappearance and appearance of anti-SBS AG, there is a gap, which is called the window period. When a patient comes to you this window period, how can you diagnose the hepatitis B virus infection? Can you tell me? Yes, there is only one antibody test. This is anti-HBC IgM. Only this marker is present in the blood in window period. Otherwise, no marker is present. Now, I want to tell about the E antigen. Hepatitis B E antigen. Hepatitis B E antigen. What is this? It is the integral component or degradation product of the core protein of the hepatitis B virus. It appears shortly before surface antigen. So, whose antigen comes first? This is E antigen. E antigen comes before the surface antigen, and it is disappears by 6 weeks. So, it is disappears by the 6 months. What happened? I don't know. There is reconnect. I don't know what happened. So now, what is the importance of E antigen? Importance of E antigen. Presence of E antigen. E indicates active viral replication. Active viral replication. What happened? Have you heard me? Active viral replication. And marker of infectivity. If it present, we think virus is replicating. Virus replicating, and there is infectivity in the infection in the infection continue in the liver. Now C antigen, HBC antigen. This C antigen is a core protein. It is a core protein. It does not present in the serum. You cannot identify the core antigen, C antigen. It present in the hepatocyte, not in the serum. And so you cannot do this test, HBCAG. But against this antigen, there is two antibody. That is IgM antibody and IgG antibody. This IgM antibody, it reflects the acute infection. But IgG antibody, it indicates the patients recover from the first infection or chronic infection. So it present in both active and chronic infection. Now these are the antigen and antibody about the hepatitis B virus. Now hepatitis A virus. There is only one antibody, IgM, which indicate active infection. If IgG, which indicates patients recover from the infection or patient getting vaccination. In hepatitis C virus, anti-ACB IgM. Only one antibody which indicate patient suffering from C virus infection. And for detection of C virus, you should do the PCR RNA. In D virus, in hepatitis D virus, there is co-infection, there is super-infection. Co-infection means it along with hepatitis B virus. Super-infection, it also indicates LC hepatitis B virus. So, how can you say what is co-infection and super-infection? If low anti-hepatitis D and presence of surface serum HBs AZ plus anti-HBsC IgM. This indicate patient suffering from co-infection. But if in super-infection, this low titer becomes high anti-D and presence of surface antigen, but there is no anti-HBC IgM. Now I want to tell this about the pathophysiology of the virus and hepatitis. Now I want to discuss about the acute viral hepatitis. Acute viral hepatitis. Acute viral hepatitis means usually we see in our locality patient present with jaundice. In A virus infection, less than 2 years, 85% asymptomatic. Less than 2 years, 85% asymptomatic. 2 to 4 years, 50% asymptomatic. And more than 5 years, it is 20% asymptomatic. So, from this scenario, you can tell in case of hepatitis A virus, mostly asymptomatic, but in hepatitis B virus infection, mostly 90% asymptomatic. So, if patient suffering from viral hepatitis, we can diagnose easily. But if they are asymptomatic, how can I diagnose viral infection, viral hepatitis? Can you tell me? Yes, I will discuss later on. Now, symptoms of acute viral hepatitis. You know there is three phases, prodromal phase, icteric phase and post-icteric phase. The prodromal phase and icteric phase and post-icteric phase. The three phases. In prodromal phase, any virus, usually A virus, B virus, C virus, D virus, D virus, all virus symptoms more similar, but some cases it may be characteristic features such as B virus infection. I will discuss later on. So in prodromal phase, what happened? In prodromal phase, usually last 2 to 4 weeks. And what are the symptoms? Anorexia, alteration of the taste, nausea, vomiting, low grade fever, upper right quadrant abdominal pain, fatigue, and some patient may present with serum sickness-like symptoms, which usually occurs in the hepatitis B virus. Urticaria, pruritus, maculopapular rash, and arthalgia, serum illness-like features. So, in prodromal phase or pre-icteric phase, if there is no symptoms of the patients, how can you diagnose? A patient comes to your chamber, he complains or he complains, he have vomiting, nausea, abdominal pain, fatigue, so, yellow or high color or dark. I don't know what happened. Frequently it is closed and open. I don't know whether you hearing or not. Only 62. Only your 61 member are joining my lecture, I think. So when mother tells high colored urine or dark colored urine, and you will do the test. What is test? If you do the serum bilirubin, it becomes normal. So what are the tests? You should do the SGPT and SGUT, and these two things are greatly increased. If these two things are greatly increased, plus you have get a prodromal symptoms, and if you get the high colored urine or dark urine, your diagnosis is viral hepatitis until proved otherwise. So you can diagnose the viral hepatitis in prodromal period easily. Now, what are the features of icteric phase? Usually it lasts 2 to 4 weeks. Icteric phase means patient becomes jaundice, yellow eye, yellow dark urine, right upper quadrenal pain, and if you examine the patient, you may get the tender hepatomegaly, splenomegaly, and sometimes you will also get the lymphadenopathy. You get the lymphadenopathy, and severe cases patient may present with the pulmonary hepatic failure. In examination, we also ask you what are the causes of tender hepatomegaly. Very common questions. First of all, you should tell the viral hepatitis. Number 1. Number 2, liver abscess. In number, congestive cardiac failure. Main three causes. There are many other causes. So, in case of icteric phase, jaundice, urinary dark urine, tender hepatomegaly, some cases splenomegaly, and lymphadenopathy in case of B virus infection, and some patient may present with hepatic failure. Now, recovery or post-treatment phase. If there is many symptoms, sign, but recovery phase, most of the patients recovered liver function test and liver cell regenerate and they becomes normal. Some cases hepatomegaly and biochemical abnormality may persist. Now, sometimes we ask some questions in the Viva board, what are the extrahepatic manifestations of the acute viral hepatitis? Usually this occurs due to deposition of the circulatory immune complex, more common in B virus infection, and common, this is arthritis or arthralgia, aplastic anemia. Sometimes there is a SEQ question, a 10 years old boy, patient suffering from jaundice 2 months back, then patient develops severe pallor, gum bleeding, no organomegaly. What is your clinical diagnosis? What is the clinical features of your provisional diagnosis? Write down the 3 important investigations. How can you treat the patients? So, your diagnosis is aplastic anemia. So remember, hepatitis A virus, B virus may produce aplastic anemia. Now, physical examination, sign. What are sign? If you see the jaundice, sclera, underside the tongue, the yellow color, jaundice, low grade fever. Sometimes patient may be dehydrated due to excessive vomiting, and sometimes you get the urticarial rash. And if you examine the abdomen, what we will get? You get tender hepatomegaly. Liver is firm or smooth? Firm and smooth. And tender. And you may get also the in 5 to 10% get the splenomegaly. You should do the lymph node examination. You get the lymphadenopathy, A virus, B virus. In case of A virus, sometimes you may get the papular ectodermatitis on the extremity due to immune complex deposition. Now, what are the complications? Complication of viral hepatitis. There are 2 groups. Number 1, B virus, C virus, D virus, and D virus. These are the more similar complications. Most of them are carrier stage, chronic carrier. Number 2 is acute fulminating hepatic failure, fulminating liver failure, 1 to 3%. But in case of A and E virus, it is only less than 0.1%. Mind it. So, liver failure is more common in B virus and C virus. Chronic hepatitis means chronic hepatic hepatitis and chronic persistent hepatitis. B virus 20% and C virus 50%. So, chronic hepatitis more common in B virus in 20% and C virus is 50%. And some cases turn into liver cirrhosis and hepatocellular carcinoma. Some cases goes to immune mediated diseases, glomerulonephritis, arthritis and vasculitis. Now, what are the complications of A virus and E virus? Usually complete recovery is the rule. No carrier stage, no chronic stage. But fulminating hepatic failure may occurs less than 1%. But it is if E virus in pregnant women, in that case fulminating hepatic failure occurs in 20%. sometimes you ask the questions, the complication of acute viral hepatitis. In case of A virus, there is other than acute liver failure, there is some other complications. That is relapsing hepatitis, and cholestatic hepatitis, post-hepatic syndrome, immune complex disorder, that is vasculitis, arthritis, and aplastic anemia. Now, how can you diagnose laboratoryically the viral hepatitis? I can tell you that before you going to investigation, you should group into 3 to 4 groups. Number 1, routine examination. Number 2, specific examination. Number 3, investigation for complication. Number 4, investigation for treatment. So 4 group. So these 4 group not always necessary for all diseases. So here routine investigation, usually we down the complete blood count, but it is not essential for diagnosis of the viral infection. In specific infection, this include liver function test. Liver function test means serum bilirubin raised, usually conjugated, and then serum SGPT, SGUT. Which one is specific for liver? SGPT. SGPT is specific for liver disease. Usually asked in the Viva board. And other investigation is the alkaline phosphatase. If it is raised, it indicates there is cholestasis. Alkaline phosphatase, this is synthesis by the canalicular epithelium. SGPT, SGUT, it is synthesis by the liver cell. If this alkaline phosphatase increase, you think there is some stasis in the biliary tree. So it is raised in obstructive jaundice or cholestatic jaundice. But if SGPT, SGUT raised, you think there is liver parenchymal inflammation. In acute ALT, in acute hepatitis, use the SGPT raised more than 1000 units. But in case of chronic hepatitis due to C virus, it is less than 1000. And other liver function test to see the coagulopathy. This is the coagulopathy. What is this? Prothrombin time, APTT and INR. It may be impaired. Now, most important diagnosis for specific diagnosis of viral diseases such as viral marker. Serum viral marker is hepatitis A virus. How can you diagnose? We do the test serum hepatitis A virus IgM. You should write down this in prescription. And also we can do the PCR test A virus. And B virus and hepatitis B virus, for infection we should do serum SBS AG. We should also do the serum SBS SBE AG. We should do the serum SBDNA. Now this SBS-AG positive indicates infection may be acute, may be chronic. This E antigen indicates replication of the virus. Then DNA antigen present is virus replication or in active stages. Now, and also the anti-C SBS SB anti-C SB IgM, NTC-IgM and IgG. This positive, IgM positive, it indicates patient is in acute infection stages. If IgG positive, patient is in chronic stages. And C virus, for C virus, anti-HCV IgM or PCR test. And E virus, how to diagnose the E virus? Same, anti-hepatitis E virus, IgM and PCR, IgM and PCR test. Now, how can you diagnose the incubation period? Incubation period of viral hepatitis. Here there is no increased liver enzyme or surface, or there is no presence of surface antigen. So how can you diagnose the acute viral hepatitis incubation period? For the inpatient you should do the DNA polymerase and hepatitis B virus DNA, and also the hepatitis B virus EAG. These three things present in incubation period. Earlier I told you this, the E antigen present before the appearance of surface antigen. In window period, what investigation should do? In window period, only you should do the anti-hepatitis B, C, IgM. Window period means disappearance of surface antigen and appearance of the surface antibody. During these two things, there is a gap. In this gap, only this anti-HBC IgM is positive. This is called the window period. Now, I want to tell the interpretation of the hepatitis B virus marker. In acute infection, hepatitis B virus marker. What indicate? Surface SBS AG positive. Any other? Yes. Anti-HBC IgM positive. The other marker, E marker and HB, hepatitis B virus DNA. This is optional, but 2 is very important. Now chronic infection, surface antigen positive, but in that case of IgM, it becomes IgG. 2 things may be present. So chronic, if you ask you the chronic infection, what infection you should do? You tell me the surface antigen, anti-HBC IgG, and other 2 optional investigation, E antigen and B DNA, hepatitis B virus DNA. Now, how can you investigate the patient? Whether the patient is in recovery phase or immunity phase? And recovery phase, how can you diagnose the patient is recovered or not? If you, in that case, recovery phase, you do the anti-SBS AG, it becomes positive, and anti-HBC IgG positive. Remember, this IgG indicates chronic infection, but if this IgG present with anti-SBS AG, it indicates recovery phase. So, recovery phase. And now, one of the questions we ask, how can you, what test you do? Either patient is have nasal infection or patient is vaccinated. So if asymptomatic patient get infection, if you do the test, you will get the anti-HBs AG. That is antibody developed. Okay, plus anti-HBC IgG positive. If two things are present, it indicates patient recovered from patient have nasal infection. But if the patient is vaccinated, only this one is positive, this one is negative. So if you do the test, if both tests are positive, your comment is patients recovered from nasal infection, or if only this is positive, this is negative, you tell the patient develop immunity by the vaccination. This question asked by the Viva board. In what happened to hepatitis A virus? If anti-IgM positive, it indicate active infection. If anti-IgG positive, it indicates nasal infection or patient develop antibody following vaccination. Now, what is the treatment? I always you tell that before giving any treatment of the patients or diagnosis of the treatment, first of all, you have categorized the 3 to 4 groups. Number 1, counseling. Counseling means in nasal and treatment option, complication and prognosis. Process of the disease you should tell in short to the mothers. This is called counseling. Number 2, supportive treatment. What is the supportive treatment of the patients of acute viral hepatitis? Supportive is bed rest. Avoid vigorous physical activity. And you should advise to mother for regular bowel movement of their side. Ensure regular bowel movement. And number 3, treatment of complication if present. What are the complication? If patient develop ascites, there means spontaneous bacterial peritonitis. In that case, need antibiotic. If or for ascites, you should salt restricted plus diuretics. Some patient may develop hepatic encephalopathy. In that case, protein restricted diet and treatment according to protocol. If patient develops coagulopathy, you give the injection vitamin K. And what are the diet? There is misconception about the diet of the viral hepatitis. Usually, uncomplicated cases, diet is normal, no restriction. What is complicated cases? That is impending hepatic failure or hepatic encephalopathy. You should restrict the protein from the diet. And number 3 is specific treatment. In case of acute viral hepatitis, no specific treatment, only supportive. But in some cases, chronic viral hepatitis infection, you may need to treat with antiviral drugs. In case of chronic, but in case of acute hepatitis, no antiviral is needed. Only supportive treatment. Now, you should, next step is follow up, lab, clinical follow-up, lab follow-up. Clinical follow-up, you may do the jaundice level of the jaundice, whether increase or decrease. You may follow up the signs of cholestasis, pruritus, clay color stool or white stool. You may follow out the signs symptoms of hepatic encephalopathy, insomnia, altered sleep pattern, and flapping tremor, also confusion, disoriented. And laboratory follow-up, you shoot the serum bilirubin and SGPT at duty level. And what are the prognosis? Prognosis is good in acute hepatitis. Very good. Usually, hepatitis A virus, no carrier stage. And hepatitis B virus has carrier stage. For the carrier stage, B virus, if at birth, baby is infected from the hepatitis B virus from the mother, in that case, 95% case is carrier. If 1 to 5 years baby is infected, carrier is 25%, that means 75% cured. And more than 5 years and older children are adult, only 5% is carrier, 95% improved. So, is small baby less than 1 year of age, carrier rate is high. Now how can you prevent? Oh, one question: what are the clinical course of the hepatitis B? What is this clinical course? If hepatitis B virus infection occurs in the patient, what happened to the patients? There is three things occurs in the patients. Number one, there is develops immunity, but complete recovery. Number two, patient may turn into acute pulmonary failure. Number three, patient may develop persistent infection. In persistent infection, some of the patient may develop chronic carrier, some of the patient develop chronic hepatitis, and chronic carrier sometimes may develop liver cirrhosis or hepatocellular carcinoma. In persistent infection, patient will give rise to chronic hepatitis. This chronic hepatitis may turn into cirrhosis or hepatocellular carcinoma. So these are the clinical course of hepatitis B virus infection. That is short in our textbook. You may follow these books, short, and this course is asked in Viva board. Now, how can you prevent this general? How can you prevent the viral hepatitis? General measures and vaccination. General measures means maintain food hygiene, maintain oral hygiene, maintain. You should drink the safety drink, clean and sterile water, and also avoid drug abuser and needle prick and skidding blood and blood product before transfusion. And number two, vaccination. Yes, vaccination in hepatitis A. There is vaccine. Usually it is given more than 1 year of age. And hepatitis B vaccine. Already, I think all of you are getting the B vaccination. This is 016, 3 doses. But in children, usually we ask in Viva board, if mother positive hepatitis B virus or sufficiently positive, during birth, what measures you should take of the newborn baby? Your answer is, I will give the hepatitis B virus vaccination at birth in one side, and at a time I will give the hepatitis B immunoglobulin in one side at birth, usually within 12 hours of birth. Then I will follow the hepatitis vaccination schedule according to EPI. Now, after 6 or 9 months of age, I will do the anti-hepatitis A surface antigen and serum HBsAg. Why should do this test? Because we want to see the either baby is completely immune or not. In that case, if surface antigen positive, anti HBsAg negative, what indicate? Positive, negative. It indicate person is carrier. So we advise the mother immediately consult with hepatologist. If surface antigen positive, surface antigen negative, and anti-HB is positive, it indicates patient develops immunity. In that case, we measure the anti-HBsAg titer. If it is less than 10 units, patient needs revaccination. If it is 10 to 100, you need booster dose. If more than 100 units, no need of vaccination. If both are negative, surface is negative and antibody negative, in that case patient is not develop antibody, not develop immunity. Patient should be vaccinated as EPI schedule.